Hi everyone, it's Dr. Fox, and let's talk about blood. In this video, we'll discuss the basics of the formed elements of blood, the functions, components, and relative abundances of the components of blood, and explore the importance of blood pH homeostasis and the role and functions of the carbonic acid bicarbonate ion buffer system, and how both respiratory and urinary systems can help compensate to maintain blood pH homeostasis. So let's begin with the blood components. Whole blood is approximately 8% of an individual's body weight. And of that, we can divide whole blood into its constituents of blood plasma, comprising 55% of whole blood, and the formed elements, which are 45% of whole blood. Blood plasma is predominantly water. It's nearly 92% water. And the remainder of that are various solutes and proteins within the blood plasma. The formed elements have three major constituents. There are the erythrocytes, which you may know best as the red blood cells. Erythrocytes are in a concentration of about 4.8 to 5.4 million per microliter of blood, so they are the most abundant formed element. There are also thrombocytes, which you may know better as platelets. Platelets may be found in 150,000 to 400,000 units per microliter. And then finally, we have leukocytes, or white blood cells, which are the least abundant formed element at between 5,000 to 10,000 cells per microliter. Now, blood has a variety of functions within the body, foremost transportation. So the cardiovascular system links all of the body's systems together. And amongst the elements being transported around the body, we have gases, so things like oxygen and carbon dioxide and other minor gases throughout the body. So this is an important link to the respiratory system. Nutrients, so nutrients absorbed by the digestive system, transported to the liver, and then reprocessed, packaged, and sent out to metabolically active tissues, complements of the digestive system. We also can move waste product from metabolically active tissues out of the body via either the digestive system, the respiratory system, or the urinary system. And finally, we can also move hormones, so endocrine, paracrine, even autocrine hormones throughout the body, as well as cytokines and other chemical messenger molecules. Other functions include regulation. So the blood is one of the ways in which the body can help to regulate pH of various fluids and tissues. Blood can help maintain temperature homeostasis by moving heat throughout the body or conserving heat by not moving it to the extremities. And the blood is an important collaborator with the renal or urinary system in helping to maintain water balance. Finally, the blood is an important worker for protection of the body. So it is a part-time host to the immune system, the lymphatic system being the other host to it. And it is also important in self-preservation through the processes of clotting or coagulation. So transportation, regulation, and protection are the major buckets of functions of the blood for us. Let's talk a little bit about pH homeostasis and drill down into this. So blood is maintained between 7.35 to 7.45 on the pH scale. This is considered physiologically neutral, albeit from a chemistry perspective, this is slightly alkaline because it is greater than 7. So anything below 7.35 is a condition known as acidemia, emia being the root for blood. And anything above 7.45 is alkalemia, so alkaline blood. And it's very critical that your body maintains a blood pH homeostasis because this is necessary for protein chemistry. Moving into acidemia or alkalemia can either not allow proteins to function optimally, or they may begin to denature and not work. Likewise, neurons and muscle cells rely on a very delicate balance of ions for proper functioning, and without this range of pH being maintained, your heart muscle, your skeletal muscle, your smooth muscles, as well as your nervous system may begin to not function optimally. It's also important for oxygen delivery throughout the body. So your metabolically active tissues require oxygen to make ATP for energy. And outside of physiological normalcy, that becomes increasingly more difficult. And it's also important, as we alluded to earlier, for electrolyte balances. So a lot of those dissolved molecules or solutes within the blood plasma are affected by pH. Now, we have a variety of means for helping to maintain blood pH homeostasis, and one of the more important ones is the carbonic acid bicarbonate ion buffer system, which we can see illustrated here. So H2CO3 is carbonic acid, HCO3 is bicarbonate ion. And we can see that all of this is maintained in a very cool dynamic equilibrium, which is aided by the respiratory and renal systems. So if we dig back deep into our knowledge bucket of chemistry, we'll realize that in equilibrium, reactions are going to behave by Le Chatelier's principle. So basically, our system is going to shift to help counteract any disturbance. So if we are in the realm of acidemia, so if we have a great increase in the amount of protons, that is going to shift these reactions to the left. So all the way over, and eventually we're going to create a lot of carbon dioxide and water. Now, carbon dioxide is a volatile gas which can be evolved and blown out by the lungs, and the rate of its elimination can be adjusted by the respiratory system, which we will discuss shortly. Likewise, if we have a buildup of carbon dioxide and the respiratory system is not able to compensate for that, that can shift our equation to the right, and we can then eliminate bicarbonate ions through the renal system. So let's consider for a second then that carbon dioxide is contained within both carbonic acid and bicarbonate ions, and so they are part of the transportation of carbon dioxide through the blood. Let's think about respiratory compensation. The lungs are actually organs which can most quickly help adjust blood pH. Now, under acidic conditions or acidemia, one of the ways that the lungs can help to resist this is through hyperventilation. So hyperventilation is the increase of moving gases through the lungs. So a quicker breathing rate. So something like that. By hyperventilating, you are eliminating more carbon dioxide from the blood, as it is a volatile acid that is going to help increase pH, so lower the acid content of the blood. Under alkaline conditions, one may hypoventilate. So you can have a slower than typical ventilation pattern. And what this is going to do is to help retain more of that volatile acid, carbon dioxide, within the blood. We also have renal compensation, so compensation complements of the kidneys, but this is a more slow mechanism. So under acidic conditions, the kidneys can actually eliminate more protons through the urine or hold on to more bicarbonate ions. The kidneys are dynamic filters, so they can choose to retain or excrete some of these components of the filtrate, which are made from the blood. Under alkaline conditions, the kidneys may choose to excrete or eliminate more bicarbonate ions and retain more protons. So they have a variety of options, but again, these are more slow to react than the lungs would be. So that brings us to the end of the video, and let's discuss a question here to see if we've grasped this concept. So a patient or person experiencing acidemia may compensate for that with which mechanism? A depressed rate of respiration. So if someone has acidemia, so a high level of blood, hypoventilation is actually going to increase the amount of carbon dioxide, so that is not correct. An elevated rate of respiration. Well, by hyperventilating, you're blowing off more of that volatile acid, so that will raise blood pH. That is a correct answer. An increased retention of protons by the kidney. No, under acidemia, we want to excrete protons. And an increased rate of excretion of bicarbonate ions. No, we want to decrease the rate of excretion of bicarbonate ions during acidemia, so that is incorrect. So the correct answer is B, an elevated rate of respiration. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll talk to you in the next video.